So my name's Keith Hayden. I'm an author, and I just call myself a digital creator now because I just do so many different things. One of the many hats that I wear is musician. And I got into music a little over 2 years ago because I wanted to add music to my podcast. I have a science fiction podcast that I'm adapting from my sci-fi novel. Like a lot of new podcasters find out really quick, music is kind of a pain to add. There's licensing, there's all these things that, lawyers, you do this research and it kind of gets pretty scary. So I did probably the option that most people don't take is I was like, I'll just make my own music. And that's when I decided to learn some music theory. I bought a course online, went through all the struggles, and about 7 or 8 months in, I found out about Hookpad, but I already knew about the Hooktheory books because one of my friends who's actually dabbled in music for many years, he was like, yeah, these are really great books that really break down music theory for beginners in a really kind of cool way. I liked the visual format. I liked how there was real world examples. And that was the first time I saw that really a song at its heart is just notes and chords. And I feel like Hooktheory was really the first time that it clicked. Okay, this isn't just like academic learning. This is applicable stuff that real people use to make real music. No matter if you're making video game music or if you're making podcasts or you're making Grammy, potentially award-winning music. These are the fundamentals. I saw Hookpad and at first, I'll be honest, I kind of shrugged it off. So it took me a couple of months to really revisit the platform and really learn how powerful it was. I was like, yo, they got AI features in this. You put on an instrument and it automatically changes. You can change patterns on the fly and you can easily export to Ableton to make it into something more. When I know I want a song, I first go to Hookpad because I know I'm going to be able to get the idea down fast. I'm not going to get stuck in the theory that I don't know. I can just kind of stick things at the wall and see what sticks and then be like, okay, I've got a sound now. And then when I get to more or less what I want, I have two roads. So I can either finish up in Hookpad and kind of go from there, or I can export to Ableton and, make it a little bit more, add some more effects, things like that. Music theory was my entry point into music. I was teaching math full time and I watched a video on YouTube that kind of connected math with music theory. And they were talking about the different wavelengths and these kind of intervals and how it's very mathematic. And that struck me as just kind of very beautiful. I think there's tremendous value in learning the theory. And that's one of the reasons that I really have stuck with Hookpad is because I remember reading you guys' kind of documentation in the beginning. And I could tell, I was like, these guys are teachers. As a teacher myself, I'm always on the lookout for great reference and learning materials. And I feel like Hookpad has been one of the best that just says, okay, I know this can be a little bit dry, but it's extremely valuable to understand how music works under the hood, why certain sounds evoke certain emotions and those intervals. And then you have the technical piece as well. You can actually see how the chord progressions are working. You can see when you change it from a sus chord to a regular chord to a seventh chord, and you can just toggle buttons and you can play. You can hear those shifts. And so the theory has made me a lot stronger of a composer in a shorter amount of time. I've run into other musicians. I've told them, yeah, I've composed or produced 50 plus songs in 2 years. To start doing something before you know how to do it seems kind of counterintuitive at first. You're like, this doesn't make sense. I know 3 chords. How am I going to write a song? You can absolutely write a 3-chord song and it can sound good. You just need to know how to put them together. The theory really is the glue that helps you get there. So I do like to make up my own rules sometimes though. If you listen to some of my music, you'll definitely hear blends of futuristic sounds, and I use Ableton. So I use a lot of synths because they have a lot of synths in Ableton, but I like that kind of mix. I want to be able to kind of form my own sound because I want it to match to the story. And the story is very much its own kind of eclectic blend of cultures and kind of sensations that I want people to experience when they read it or listen to it. So the music reflects that. You've made a really kick-ass software that's really been helpful, not just to me, but I'm sure to other people. Really has helped me learn music and appreciate it more. And I tell everybody about it. There's not a lot of people I know that are interested in making their own music, but when I find them, I definitely point them in the direction of Hookpad. I'm pointing into the Hooktheory books. I'm like, this should be your ground zero. This is where you start.